It's time for the Nebraska Baseball Coaches Show.
Here's the pitch. And a little soft liner on the left side. It's going to be a tough play. Shortstop having to backhand it, and he can't in time. And Nebraska takes the lead. An infield single for Max Butenbach, his third RBI. It's now 5-4 Nebraska.
Portions are brought to you by Midwest Ford.
The pitch. Called strike three. He got him looking in Nebraska. Nails this one down. Taking down the Kansas Jayhawks on the road, 7-5. First pitch. That one's turned on over to the right side. It's picked up there by Swales. Throws wide of the bag, and that's going to bring Butenbach towards home. He's going to score, gives Nebraska the lead. Stone on his way to second, slides. He's safe. 1-2 pitch. Popped up into center field. This is sending Riley Silva back towards the wall, and this one is... He made the catch. Oh, my goodness. Riley Silva leaps and makes a game-saving catch in deep right center field, a ball that looked like it was going out. And just like that, Nebraska wins.
Now with Will Bolt, here's your host, Ben McLaughlin.
Thank you. Welcome to the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour here on Sports Nightly. Ben McLaughlin joined in studio by Nebraska Baseball head coach Will Bolt. We have you for the first hour here on Sports Nightly before we hand things back over to the A-team. We welcome in Coach Bolt. Man, I am officially adopting the 2025 Huskers as the Road Warriors. Like, I was talking to somebody in the office today. I just can't remember of a year where we've had, obviously, the California trip. Maybe only once or twice has that ever happened where we're gone, but never that far. But then also, you're home for maybe a week, and then Tuesday on the road, back on it on the road on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and bus trips nonetheless. Right. You guys have just been racking up the miles.
We have, and we decided this year to go a day early to Kansas just so we didn't have to deal with a three-plus hour bus ride and then, get out and play against a top 25 team. So we went down Monday, so in a hotel an extra night on Monday night last week. And, we've had a certainly this is probably one of the most challenging schedules we've ever been a part of. Not
only just the logistics, which I think a lot of times gets overlooked by people. They turn on the radio or turn on the game and expect to just, see what they see. But everything that goes in behind the scenes with these guys riding on buses and throwing bags under the bus, schoolwork on the road, sleeping in beds that's not their own, taking tests in the hotel room. I mean, all these other things that weigh on, 18 to 21-year-old kids, and some of them having to do this all from the first time, being away from home for the first time. Like, that's not an easy transition to make.
Yeah, no, the freshmen are getting their eyes open right now, I think, just to college baseball. And the guys that have, been here for a few years, maybe not had something quite like this, but I guess you could rewind back to 2021 when we got our schedule. What was it, a couple of months before the season started, and we're flying to Denver to get to Pennsylvania. Just that was a crazy year. That travel was tough. But you just find a way to grind through it, and you want to play professional baseball. There's long bus rides and not so glamorous lifestyles before you get to double and triple A. So, a lot that goes into it, but proud of our guys. I mean, big win on Tuesday, and then some really tough losses in between, and then to finish the week the right way, that was very encouraging.
Yeah, and I think this maybe kind of goes into everything we just talked about. You and I talk 50 times a year, pre- and post-game, about trying to take emotion out of baseball, because for those that have played the game, you let motion get involved, it's just going to ruin you.
Right.
How does that feed into not only the big wins that we've seen, the big, the USC win with Dev getting the big hit, but then having to come back and play on Sunday, but also the tough losses. We had just a week ago, losing to Creighton and Omaha in the same week, but still having the schedule doesn't slow down for you. How does all that kind of factor into each other?
Yeah, you show up the next day and understand that the previous day's outcome has no bearing on your opportunity to go be awesome that day. So it's tough. You got to remind yourself. You got to remind the guys around you, just like, hey, losing sucks, winning's awesome, and neither one of them are guaranteed on this day. So you just show up and go about your business and understand the things that you do well when you win, and then try to replicate those.
We're at a point in the year where I think maybe self-reflection and kind of a recalibration is good, because we're buckling up for a stretch run here, and I think these guys are all around their phones. They watch TV. They know what's in front of them. Obviously, the road series on the road in California, Oregon State, no slouch, and then on the road against a team that's in first place in the league. Things are now probably in front of them where they know what they need to go do. How have you seen the team maybe respond since Iowa, knowing that, we got to go just take care of business from here on out?
Yeah, and I think they understand. We've played about as tough a schedule as you can, including in conference, like you said, with the long road trip. USC is playing at a very high level now in retrospect. UCLA is a top 10 team in the country. Iowa's off to an amazing start. So, and then a Rutgers team that had won a lot of games in Lincoln prior to this year. So it's not going to get any easier from the standpoint of you still got to go play well to win, but also understanding that if this was still a 24-game conference season, we would probably be in a little different situation. But we still got half of our conference season left. We still got some good RPI, non-conference games left. We need to win. I mean, we need to take care of business and, just find some consistency really is the main thing. And it's not a mindset thing because we don't have bad losses. We haven't played terrible baseball, and we just have played good teams, and we haven't really finished in kind of the mid to late innings at times. And so really good development on Sunday with a young man coming back after being gone for 2 months that's going to give a shot in the arm to the pitching staff with Timmerman.
Yeah, we'll get to talk in a minute, but let's kind of go through the week. Tuesday, you mentioned the road trip down to Lawrence. It's a long trip. It's not an easy bus ride, but one of the few we can bus to.
Right.
That's a caliber opponent in the midweek. I'm having PTSD from thinking to last year's game down there when the wind was blowing out. It seemed like every fly ball to the second base was blowing out for a home run. And that'd be a little intimidating going into that atmosphere, knowing what Kansas team was in front of you and what they've done this year, just bash the ball. How'd you like the way the guys kind of bounced around? And, I know a lot of free passes, but we're able to work around some trouble and some timely hitting.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we went down on Monday, so we had a practice there Monday night. It was light. It was just getting out and kind of getting acclimated for some of the guys that had never been there before. And then we had kind of a day to be together, just another couple of days on the road to bond. Just Hare Hill just kept the, game manageable for us. We scored early. We scored often in the first 3 innings, jumped out to a 4-1 lead. Middle innings hit. They hit their big number. But we were able to minimize basically from there on out, and some clutch moments in there for the guys, and some big moments for our bullpen to come in and get some big outs and some key situations. And that really did carry on to the weekend, I felt like, with our pen. And they made some big pitches at times. Some of it was self-inflicted wounds that we were having to overcome. But Tuesday night was a really good win against a really solid team, 26-6, I believe, coming into it, 70-plus home runs. And, it was good to be on the right side of a game where we felt like we just outscored them.
Hare Hill's an interesting one to figure because he's probably one of the quiet guys on the team, unsuspecting in the way that you look at him. Big kid, big frame. You love the way he pitches, but haven't really seen him a ton. And now all of a sudden it's like you feel super comfortable when he's out there. Seems like he's got good control of the fastball, and it's still popping in the low 90s. And from watching on TV, the breaking ball was nasty on Tuesday. What has he done just kind of quietly behind the scenes to make himself a factor?
Yeah, so he kind of got to a crossroads after the fall. His freshman year didn't go the way he would really wanted it to, nor did his fall. So he really dove deep to make some physical adjustments. I mean, Ryan is a very diligent, hard worker. Nebraska baseball means an awful lot to him, and his teammates mean an awful lot to him. So he was just very dedicated to do whatever he could to help the team. So he went to work on his delivery, messed with some arm slot changes, and went back to the over-the-head delivery with the glove, kind of the old school, when he starts his windup. But what he was able to do is he was able to get a lot more movement on the fastball. That was kind of the problem. He was up to 94 at times, but the fastball just didn't play real well, and the breaking ball didn't play as well either. So he went and lowered his arm slot. He worked really hard on that in the offseason, learned how to throw a slider from a lower arm slot. he's getting more ground balls. I mean, he's kind of like a similar version to Tucker, where he's fastball slider with a fastball that's heavy, and he can run it up there at 92, and he's just gaining confidence every time he goes out. So we're excited to get him the ball. And he, like I said, he held down 2 innings, but we've seen some midweek games that have gotten away from us in the first or second inning prior to. So he's done a really good job of just doing what it takes to help.
He's one of those guys that you watch. That guy's pitched a long time.
Yeah.
Like this is his mechanics. It's like something you watch out of a video,
right,
with his mechanics. Another guy you don't win Tuesday without is Max, and he's had an interesting summer to now. Right? I mean, following him in the summer in the North was just like, I don't know if I remember texted you or Jared or somebody in the summer, like, are those stolen base? Is that a misprint? Like, what is going on? And he's in the home run derby, and we knew he had thump in the bat. All you do is watch him take batting practice last year, but now he's, had a great summer, had a great fall. I remember sitting in your office going, February, yeah, it's real, it's legit. And then, you watch him take batting practice, opening day, the DH in the 2-hole. I think he homered the second game of the year, and then ran into a little trouble, but now he's back. And the thing that's amazing to me watching Max is nothing is soft off his bat.
Right.
Like if he makes contact, it is smoked. And now he's catching some barrels for you. Yeah,
Max is very talented. Max is an ultimate competitor. And much like Ryan Harehill, he loves the Huskers. He grew up Huskers in his blood, obviously, his dad being a big part of Husker football. But I wouldn't even say that he struggled really. I mean, it was just he got off to a little bit of a slow start. He maybe caught a little bit in between the fastball and the slow stuff. Really started to kind of figure that back out. And what he's done is what you want anyone to do when they want to play is force your hand. And so he did that, and he took advantage of opportunities off the bench with clutch pinch hits, home runs, and then you could kind of just see the confidence kind of get back in there from that. And it's a thing that we've always known we had. I mean, just hitting him in the 2-hole on opening day, and having other guys that needed opportunities too. But he's forced our hand, and that's awesome because now you're starting to see the talent and the confidence. And now he's hitting every pitch. He's not caught in between anymore. He's taking what we call committed swings, and that's why when he puts the ball in play, and he's doing that at a very high level at this point, it's coming off his bat 100+ because he's taking committed swings, and he's hitting home runs on 96-mile-an-hour fastballs. I think he hit a slider and a cutter yesterday. I mean, the big hit, and you can see, I mean, he hit the slider to left field, stayed over it. It was a kind of a backdoor slider to extend the lead to 2 late in that game, and then the cutter that he pulled down the line, which is the same thing he did against Kansas. He got a changeup, and a slider and pulled it down the right field line. So you got to be a good hitter to do that. And Max is certainly talented, and I'm excited for his success because he's worked hard for it.
Yeah, and a guy that was huge, not just Tuesday, but all weekend, and he had to be with the situations in front of us, was Luke Broderick. And doesn't take a rocket science to figure out why you guys like him there. I think I watched him pitch once in the fall maybe, and then you just kind of knew watching him, okay, this guy's real. Had a hard time fitting him where you want to fit him early, but had some save chances, and you use the word phrase for us, no heartbeat, and that's just how he's almost emotionless out there. No moment seems too big. What is it about him and not only situations that he inherits, but sometimes some self-inflicted situations with command, or maybe does let up a single where it's just like, whatever, I'm just going to get this next guy out?
Yeah, it's called the confidence of having great stuff. I mean, he throws a fastball at 95, 96 with cut action, and the breaker takes on 3 different shape profiles, honestly. And so he knows he's got good stuff. He trusts his stuff, and there may be a chance to wobble here and there, but he's always got that breaker to go back to, and it's hard to hit. It's a hard one to hit, and just when you think that you can take it, because he's left a couple down, he'll bend one in there, and that's how he finished the Tuesday game. Their best hitter was at the plate, and he spit on a few pitches and looked like he was just up there thinking that he was going to get a ball in the dirt and he move on, but he, right over the middle of the plate, strike 3, and he's done a very good job. And we've, like you said, I mean, we really couldn't get to that 1-inning save very often for him early in the season, and so we kind of extended him a little bit more. We've seen him throw 30, 40 pitches at times through back-to-back days this weekend. So probably had to go to him earlier than we would have liked on Saturday. Ended up costing us the game. Like I said, there were some big moments where guys got out of, but if we could have had a clean inning, we could have extended when we used those guys an inning or two later. So he's been awesome. Great to see him bounce back on Sunday and make pitches when he needed to.
I don't know that I've ever heard him talk. So what's when you're going through, all right, Luke, we need 35 out of you today with a chance of going to pitch tomorrow. What are those conversations like with how does he handle that workload? Yeah,
I mean, Coach Childress is really, handles those conversations with the pitchers for the most part. And it's basically just gets a feel once they're playing catch, like, hey, how do you feel today? Are you available? I think Luke is always going to say that he is available. And obviously you want to be careful, but he really, I think he only threw 20-something pitches on Saturday, even though he got up and down. So got him out of there on Saturday when the save was not there anymore, and that allowed us to have him come back on Sunday.
Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour here on Sports Nightly. Glad you've dialed us up. Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free. It's easy. It's the law. Time now for our Nebraska Lottery Baseball Trivia question. The first person to text the correct answer to 402-413-2400 will receive $100 in Nebraska Lottery scratch tickets. Speaking of, Luke Broderick grabbed his 7th save of the season yesterday against Iowa. Name the pitcher who holds the single-season record for saves at Nebraska. Name the pitcher who holds the single-season record for saves at Nebraska. Text that answer to 402-413-2400 and get yourself a prize from the Nebraska Lottery. We'll step aside for our first break. More with Coach Bolt coming up next.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker black shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We are recruiting Teammates mentors and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions to every field. Congratulations to Dr. J in Kearney. He knew that Brett Jensen, with 16 saves in 2005, was the single-season record for saves at Nebraska. Broderick, Nebraska's closer today, picked up his 7th against Iowa. This is the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Dorothy Lynch home style and light and lean dressing, endless flavor abilities. Ben McLaughlin joined again by head coach Will Bolt. So Tuesday win, great. Back on a bus 2 days later to go take on Iowa, another team that plays in just a launching pad. Wind always seems to be blowing out to left when we play there. Typically, an Iowa team is built for pitching. That's just kind of how Rick Heller's done it. This year, it's a lot more offense, and so very similar challenge that you had in front of you Friday, Saturday, Sunday that you had on Tuesday. Obviously, pitchers very aware of that and knowing what they need to do. Walsh was absolutely brilliant for you on Friday. You knew their guy was going to be just as good. Cade Obermueller's been a rock-solid piece of their rotation for a long time. But what the challenge and the message to your staff going to Iowa, where you knew the ball was likely going to be flying out on pop flies again last weekend?
Yeah, well, Friday actually presented a totally different circumstance because the wind was blowing in. It was a little chilly. And so it was obviously a big-time pitcher's duel. We had our chances early in that game. Obermueller was kind of trying to find his command a little bit, a couple of hit-by pitches and walks, which is a little bit uncharacteristic, especially the older version of Obermueller, because early in his career, strikes were a bit of a concern. He'd only walked 12 guys coming into the game. So Will was awesome. As you said, it was one solo home run that squeaked over the fence, and that was the game. So he did a great job. Drew came in and pitched well in a short stint. And, they're just sometimes you tip your cap. They've had some dudes through the years, and Obermueller is as good as advertised. Seeing him in person, we missed him last year. He wasn't available when we played against him, but he's been dominant this season, and he hasn't given up much of anything to anybody. And it was a tough loss of 1-0. Offense had been rolling pretty good, but there wasn't a whole lot to be had there. I did feel like we had some situations to drive runs in, and we just weren't aggressive enough. And that's kind of where we've turned the tide offensively, is just being more aggressive in those situations. And he was mixing his pitches well, and the slider has a lot of spin, and it's deceptive. And the fastball, he was still popping 93, 94 late in his outing. So had chances early. Staff did a great job to give us a chance to win. And, that was a tough way to start the weekend.
Why is – somebody asked me this. It's such a silly, easy question, but it's kind of hard to answer. Why is Will Walsh still effective? Pitching 12 years later, his stuff is the same. Well, I say the same. It's different, but
it's better.
The same pitches.
Yeah.
Clearly there's video and stats on him, right? He's not going to blow you away at 95, but he's still finding ways to work deep into games. I mean, I think arguably his best start was the one a couple weeks ago when he was getting hit around a little bit, still got you 5 innings.
Yeah.
What is it about Will that he can still be effective when he doesn't have this day and age ace stuff?
Yeah, there's something to be said about executing pitches at a high level, and that's what Will can do. He can throw any pitch in any count. He throws strike one an awful lot. And what he's learned as he's gotten deeper in his career is he doesn't need to throw nothing but strikes. Once he gets ahead, he can expand the zone. And now the slider is better. It's harder. It's got more shape to it. That's a difference maker for him. And he just – it's guys that make pitches, they tend to hang around and get to pitch for a long time. And that's what Will's done. And he's been on a mission this year. The stuff is a tick better. And he's picked up the slack with Mac out. I mean, with Mac and Tuck out, that's not just 2 really good pitchers, but that's a lot of innings that you have to cover. And so Will's really picked up the slack there on Fridays, even when he doesn't have his best stuff, as you alluded to in the Rutgers game, where we were able to get some length out of him and he could kind of save our pen for the next day.
Saturday you wake up and back to old Bank Stadium, wind sunny, wind blowing out to left, and to center, and it just seemed like it was going to be a lot of runs that day. I really didn't think I feel like Saturday almost summed up Ty Horne's year in a nutshell. I don't feel like he pitched badly, and watching on TV, a lot of pitches at the knees that he just weren't strikes that day. It seemed more of a high strike zone and having to work around guys on base, and it seems like he's 2 or 3 hitters away from giving you 5 really good innings.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the bugaboo. I mean, Ty had great stuff. I think his last 2 outings, he's had really good stuff. It's just getting past that 75 pitch threshold, because he does go into a lot of deep counts, 3-2 counts, foul balls, some of that stuff. It's just getting past that 75 pitch threshold, really, and that kind of that third time through the order that's given him problems. But yeah, I thought his stuff was great. He was on attack. The fastball was as good as we've seen it against a really good offense that doesn't strike out a lot. Got more swing and miss on the fastball. He was very determined to throw well on Saturday. And we had, it was a back and forth game, and we battled, we fought. They came and made their punch in the middle innings, and we responded and took a 2-run lead, I believe, into the 7th inning, because we just kind of kept coming. That's kind of where some of those self-inflicted, we go up 2 and then we walk the first 2 batters, and we made some huge pitches to get off the field and limit the damage to 1, but you're having to go through multiple bullpen arms, and the momentum kind of gets away from you a little bit. And, and then, like I said, I mean, we had the lead, and Broderick had 2 strikes on their leadoff hitter. He hits a home run, and a couple walks later, turns into a 6th spot, so that's tough. It's tough to overcome that, and that's what happened in the game Saturday. You got your closer on the mound and a 1-run lead in the 8th. If we had cleaned some things up in the bullpen prior to, it's the 9th inning with a 1-run lead, and I think it looks a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing too is you really start to see the depth of a lineup in a situation like that, and really Rutgers was the same way. Really hard team to strike out.
Right.
You know, you look 150 at-bats, 8 strikeouts. 121 at-bats, 11 strike. Guys that are not just our guys, but everyone's having a hard time striking them out. When you have an offense that can do that, not just hitters 1 through 3 in a lineup, you got 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, I think their 6-hole hitter was the Big Ten Player of the Week last week. There's just not a spot where you can really go, okay, now we can get an out here. What type of tax and focus level does that take from not just your starter, but especially your bullpen?
Yeah, and they make you throw the ball over the plate, so they draw their walks, and you know, they're not up there just free swinging. So you got to execute pitches, and that's what we just talked about with Will Walsh. His ability to execute pitches is what allows him to have longevity in a game, in a career, and all those things, and without primo stuff. So, you know, just being able to execute pitches, you know, you can get any lineup out if you can get ahead and execute pitches at a high level. And when you don't against a good lineup, they expose that. So, you know, that was where that inning got away from us. And, you know, that's where we've had some issues this year. Having to cover those innings for those 2 guys that we talked about, guys that are a little bit inexperienced. And you know, we were also without Jalen and Clark over for the weekend too. They were unavailable and didn't travel. So, you know, having to cover some of those innings and you know, it got away from us.
You stack that on top of the results Friday, Saturday. I mean, everything was kind of stacking against the Huskers yesterday. I texted you after the game yesterday. I thought, you know, on paper, that was maybe the most impressive win of the year, when it'd be easy to just say, man, we're just going to fold up our tents and try again next week. They didn't do that. And not only did they not do that, super hyper-competitive game. You didn't have a lot of options in the bullpen. You had Tuck, first time he's pitched since February, so maybe you're not quite exactly sure how he's going to respond. I think he met the challenge and some yesterday, but you had to have been really proud of the effort of the boys yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've fought and scrapped, and even when it wasn't pretty all year, I mean, we've had an incredibly difficult schedule, as we've talked about, and really no bad losses in there. I mean, it's just some games where we just haven't won. We haven't been able to finish. So I knew the response would be there. I mean, that's part of our DNA. So talked to the hitters before the game, said, look, our 1 and 3-hole hitters are unavailable. They're puking. They're going to be in the hotel all day. No excuses, no alibis. Everybody will give you one if you accept it, but we're not going to take any. And the guys are capable. You know, I mean, Robbie Bolin was sitting over 300. I mean, we were, you know, slide max to the 3-hole, and he responded, you know. So, yeah, it was just a good response by our guys. And Tucker was the difference in the game. I mean, he came back, and just his presence, his attack. He got his double play ball right away that we didn't turn, and he didn't bat an eye because he's a competitor. He doesn't get consumed with things that he can't control. Just got right back on the mound, made pitches, and those middle innings where those 3 and 4 spots have happened to us, he didn't allow that to happen, allowed us to score. And, you know, that's where those X-Factor guys in college, they're difference makers. And now we have 2, I think, you know, with Christo and him, you know, and that's kind of how our pitching staff's set up, front to back to start. Hopefully we get Jalen back healthy and throwing well, and Clark as well in the near future, and then you start to, you know, make a run.
Story hasn't made the air yet, but I love being around the cage during batting practice. I love just watching the guys before the game, something that I've always liked. I saw Tuck down there a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't talked to him since the surgery, and so I walked up and, you know, just started chatting with him, and it's like, well, you're getting close, and he kind of looked at me with a wry smile, and he goes, Iowa. And so I know he was chomping at the bit to pitch against them too, and this is a guy that people were concerned about, you know, the mind games of taking one off the face. If you know Tucker, that's not a
no.
I mean, he's one that you have to pull the rope and say, calm down, big fella. You don't ever have to get him going. And I think that presence probably was felt by the other 8 guys around him too.
Absolutely. And I think Casey Dice took the mound right after him and had maybe a little different persona to him as well, just kind of feeding off that energy. And that's what it's contagious, just like hitting's contagious and confidence in the box is contagious. Same thing on the mound. I mean, you really need to have multiple guys kind of showing the way, especially this big crop of freshman pitchers that we have. It's been a bit of a mixed bag with just the consistency with some of our veteran arms. And so for Tucker to come in and just kind of show the way right there and kind of set the tone, that's huge. I mean, we have missed that personality on the staff, and we've talked about this on this show multiple times. I mean, you have injuries from time to time, and you got to overcome them. Mac and Tucker were basically 1A and 1B in terms of alpha personalities, and you could throw a couple other guys in there. Drew's obviously pitching his guts out for us this year. But
literally.
But those two guys have been, just in the weight room and conditioning and just every area of the program. Those two guys are, at the top.
Yeah.
And so to lose both of them was tough, and getting Tuck back is a good shot in the arm for the group.
Super proud of the guys yesterday. That's not an easy place to play unless you've been there. You know what I'm talking about. The fans are right on you. It's a tough place to play. They're always good, and to have to do that with the circumstances you had yesterday was really impressive. Hey, Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of items. Use everyday Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. We'll take another break with Coach Bolt. We got coming up after the timeout.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the FSA 57 battery trimmer set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK-10 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit CVACoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Don't miss out on a complete day of activities for the entire family at the 2025 Husker Games presented by FNBO on Saturday, April 26th. The Husker Games will include football activities in Memorial Stadium, a soccer matchup with Wyoming at Hibner Stadium, and spring volleyball match against Kansas at the Devaney Center. You can also participate in a tour of the Osborne Legacy Complex, the Husker Equipment Sale, and a food truck festival. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. See you on April 26th.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new great trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Falls City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
If you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Ben McLaughlin, Coach Will Bolt. Got a little bit of time left before we say goodnight to Coach. Need to talk offense. And I think the perplexing thing to me and probably to you and everybody watching was how many guys weren't hitting early. I mean, you could probably stomach a couple, but, man, it seemed like we were just searching for answers everywhere. And now it just seemed like we're way too good of an offense for this to be happening. You watch them take batting practice, and I know the arms are really, really good, but these are experienced guys starting to turn. And I think you said it's contagious. And the thing that you and I talk about a ton was the lack of slug numbers. Well, those have come in bunches. Obviously, the home run was a huge asset for you this weekend. Kale got into one big 3-run swing. Obviously, the extra base hit yesterday was maybe the difference in the game. You and I talk again, but people probably get sick of hearing it pre and post game. Committed swings, having a plan in the box. What does that mean? What are you looking for in an at bat that's not just a single or a double? You go, oh, that was a good at bat. Like Max Butenbach, I think, was a good example of this early. He had a lot of really good at bats, wasn't getting a lot of hits, but didn't look outmatched and a lot of 3-2 counts. What are you watching for in your offense when some of us might just be looking at a box score?
Well, first and foremost, a prerequisite to be a good hitter is you have to have the plate covered. Okay, so what does that mean? Plate covered means you've got to be able to hammer pitches on the outer third of the plate, and while also not diving to the plate or not taking your arms to the ball and exposing yourself on the inner half of the plate. It's having a move, we call it a move to the plate, where you let the ball travel a little bit, understanding that the only way you drive the baseball is if you keep your hands closer to your body. As soon as your hands get away from you, roll over ground balls and flares. That's where we were early in the season, and there weren't a whole lot of committed swings. You face good pitching, they can kind of get you caught in between. They're executing pitches at a high level. You kind of get on your heels a little bit offensively, and that's really where we were. It took a mindset flip, and so what we're looking for is covering the plate. You've got to be able to cover the plate to hit. You don't necessarily have to hit the ball the other way, but you have to be able to make a move to drive the baseball to the big part of the field. And so that's what we were looking for. really needed a better commitment from our guys to do that. Again, a lot of guys were off the ball trying to, go elevate to the pull side, which is great. We all want that, but there's a way that you got to go about doing it. And we were getting hammered by the fastball. I mean, we were just getting beat up by velocity and good fastballs, and because we were caught in between. And so that's where it starts too. You got to be on time to the pitcher's best fastball, and it doesn't happen the second or third pitch of your at bat. You've got to be on time before you walk to the plate. That means in the dugout, on deck. Now you're prepared. So started with that, covering the plate, being on the fastball, and then just understanding that if you do those things, if you have the plate covered and you have the fastball covered, and you're doing it properly, then you can start to hammer slow mistakes. So we've picked our spots with some different situations, and you're just starting to see more slug. And when you face a schedule like we're facing and the pitching that we're facing day in and day out, singles aren't going to do a whole lot for you, except when you're in RBI spots. So slug is a big time difference maker, and it's been for us here in the last month or so. Warmer weather helps, and playing home games helps. But the guys they're just more sold out to what we're doing, and it's just a mindset flip, and you just got to be able to go to the plate. Your confidence doesn't just come from going and hitting in the cages aimlessly. You have to have a plan. You have to have a committed approach in the box, and then you can have confidence. So that's where we've started to turn the page. And hitting's hard. I mean, it's going to come and go. It's why you always have to build your teams around your pitching staff first, because hitting is so difficult. Stuff is so good now that, hitting is going to be a bit of a crapshoot sometimes. The wind may be blowing in some days, So, but confidence and mindset is everything. Having the plate covered, making a move that allows you to use the big part of the yard, and then being committed to a pitch, that's where you get your better swings.
We certainly see them take strides in that. The slug has come, and I think the confidence has come with it. Quick one here. We'll take our final break, and we'll wrap it up with Coach coming up next.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Springfest deals are still in full swing at Lowe's. Right now, get 5 bags of Stay Green Premium Color 2 cubic foot mulch for only $10. And get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save up to $300 when you buy 2 or more select GE kitchen appliances of $396 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/16, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the FSA 57 battery trimmer set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK-10 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Couple minutes left with Coach. Right back on it tomorrow. Good, bad, indifferent. The schedule doesn't care. And another big one tomorrow, and then finally some more home games. I mean, it just feels like this year has been life out of a suitcase. But how could the boys take Sunday and tomorrow?
Yeah, it starts with, the next day's starting pitcher, they say. That's where your momentum comes from in baseball. We get to hit first. Would be awesome to be on the right side of a big inning to start the game up in that ballpark. And we'll see quite a few guys, I would imagine, tomorrow and piece it together like we did against Kansas. And like to see similar offensive output and similar defensive output that we had last Tuesday.
I know people from afar can look at it and say it might feel kind of random who you throw out there on a midweek, but just feel like you can't understate how important it is for those guys to get in there and get innings, but not only to pitch, but to pitch well, almost like a tryout every time they're out there.
Yeah, and the games that we've won in the midweek, and we've done better this year, we've gotten good starts, and the tough games, we haven't gotten out of the first or second inning with some starts. So really it's just stabilizing the game early and allowing your offense to go to work a little bit and just to kind of settle the game down. Harrihill did a nice job last Tuesday. He'll get the ball again tomorrow. He's been good. He's done a lot of things really well. He's mature. And then we can just hand it off to some other guys and try to put them in positions to succeed rather than trying to clean up a couple of walks and a hit or hit batter and, bringing guys in with a ton of traffic. I think just being able to hand the ball off. And we've got some freshmen that haven't seen the ball, seen the mound for a little bit, that have had a chance to kind of sit and watch and regroup and also see what it's supposed to look like, in the meantime. So, going to need a full effort tomorrow, and getting off to a great start would be a big change for us.
A lot of guys under the weather. Anybody back? Too early to tell with some of the guys that were really sick this weekend?
Yeah, I believe they'll all be available. They're feeling much better by the end of the day yesterday, feeling a lot better today. So should have all those guys back and ready to rock and, looking forward to it.
Good deal. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Coach Bolt here with us, Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Appreciate Coach Bolt coming in here and giving us our insights. Huskers baseball again in action tomorrow, right up the road on I-80, taking on the Creighton Blue Jays. That's it for us. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to everybody participating in our Husker baseball trivia question. We'll hand it over to Sports Nightly, hour number 2, coming up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Sophistication meets performance in your new vehicle from Woodhouse Cadillac. Explore special financing and exclusive offers happening now. Receive $7,500 in savings plus 3.9% APR for 36 months on the 2024 Cadillac XT5 Premium Luxury. Visit us in-store or online at woodhousecadillac.com. With approved credit, stock for KK240330. Less finance with GM Financial. Courtesy transportation vehicle with 2,098 miles. $299 doc due at sign-up. Offer expires 4/30/2025. See dealer for details.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive.
Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit cvacoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Check. Good evening. I'm Russ Brown. Tonight's ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Husker softball completed the sweep of Northwestern this afternoon with a 3-0 win. Jordy Ball threw a complete game shutout, allowing just 2 hits while striking out a season-high 14 batters. Earlier in the day, Ball was named the Big Ten Pitcher of the Week. It's the 4th time she's earned that honor this season. Her line last week, 2-0 with an ERA of 1.27 in all 3 games for the Huskers. Nebraska baseball heads to Omaha to face Creighton at Charles Schwab Field tomorrow. Ryan Harryhill gets the ball for the Huskers. He's yet to record a decision on the season. He has an ERA of 3.97. Shea Went gets the ball for the Blue Jays. You can hear all the action right here on the Huskers Radio Network starting at 5:30 Central. And former Husker volleyball player Lexi Rodriguez is one of the 6 finalists for the 95th AAU James E. Sullivan Award. The award goes to the exceptional athlete in the collegiate, Olympic, or similar elite level in the United States. The ceremony will be streamed on ESPN Plus beginning at 6 Central. Call a timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Now, hour number 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Husker Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
1-2 pitch. Popped up into center field. This is sending Riley Silva back towards the wall, and this one is... He made the catch! Oh, my goodness! Riley Silva leaps and makes a game-saving catch in deep right center field, a ball that looked like it was going out. And just like that, Nebraska wins.
2 on, none out. The 2-2 Bland swings and hammers this one. Deep left field. It is gone. A home run for Samantha Bland. A 3-run shot and a 6-0 lead for Nebraska. And that home run sets a new school record for the Cornhuskers. The 77th home run of the year.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hi, everyone, and welcome in. Happy Monday to you. Hope you enjoyed the Ben and Bolt show over the last hour. Appreciate them being here. Nick and I are going to take you the rest of the way here, and there's been a lot going on, a lot to talk about today, but I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to start with my pick for the Masters was the winner. Nick, I'm just going to go right there. Go right in and say I picked the winner. Not that it was like I went out on any huge limb by any means, but Rory made it interesting, but he picked up the win for me.
Congratulations on that one, by the way. Yeah, and from what it sounded like, we didn't get into the car and start listening. I was watching. I wasn't driving, by the way, but I was riding passenger, had the Masters on, watching that and seeing that he was down by 1. And then, well, of course, there was the double bogey to start. So you're thinking, oh, my gosh, Rory, can you do this? And then to miss that putt on 18, you're thinking, how does he recover? And if you remember my dark horse, Justin Rose, who he had in the playoff there, of course, losing again in the playoff like 2017 to Sergio. That was maybe I tweeted this out, had to be the most fitting way for Rory to win a green jacket. To do so, having to exercise demons, missing a putt, just like in the U.S. Open last year when he could have won that thing against Bryson DeChambeau. You're thinking there's no way he wins this playoff because the guy's probably in his own head. And for him to hit that approach shot the way that he did, merely 2.5 feet away, bravo, Rory, bravo.
But how'd your pick do, John Rahm? So, listen, we're not in the business of, I said, pick a winner, and you gave like 4 or 5 different scenarios. You had a dark horse and definitely not going to win. You had like 5 different guys. So I'm not giving you credit for Justin Rose, dark horse, because you actually picked John Rahm, which was the assignment.
And John Rahm did okay. He actually he played back okay in the weekend. Yes, he had a really rough Thursday, but Friday was not bad, and Saturday and Sunday.
I think for me personally, when I'm watching those majors, I just want that drama at the end. And so, and Rory talked a lot about that. That was one of the things he's most proud of, that he was able to overcome adversity along the way, which he has not been able to do. So for him to, have some bogeys, some double bogeys, and then to be able to find a way to finish, and it just was High Theater. I'll remember that moment. I mean, I will remember for years down the road, I will remember that moment because of the way he had to win it. So, I mean, it was a cool moment. And I saw a couple people tweet out. I think it was Nicole with the Big Ten. You used to work the Big Ten. She's like, I feel sorry for people that don't like sports, because that was one of those moments that I was so glad I was watching live, because it was, that's why you like sports right there. That was the perfect example of why we watch sports.
Well, the U.S. Open last year was heartbreaking for him. And then if you remember the 2 years previous to that at the British Open, when they have essentially all he needs to do is maybe make 2 birdies in his round of 18 on that Sunday at the British Open. He doesn't do that. He didn't play horrible golf, but he just did not get enough birdies. Cameron Smith played out of his mind, and Cameron Smith essentially stole that from Rory. Now, good for Rory. He's already got a claret jug, but that was another major opportunity for him to win where he had that major drought. So not only does he complete the career Grand Slam, now the 6th to do so, but he also did that in dramatic fashion where, there were a couple of bogeys here. You missed that putt there on 18 that could have done him in the playoff. It doesn't happen. So I think just his raw emotion, I was talking about this with someone last night. Other than Tiger winning in 2019, in the last decade, this was without question, maybe in the last 2 decades, maybe one of the most memorable Masters that I can recall.
Yeah, absolutely. We just a couple hours ago, huge win, huge weekend for Husker softball, getting the sweep over Northwestern. First sweep over Northwestern since 2017. And we talked a lot about this series going into the weekend. Northwestern was the leader of the Big Ten standings going into the weekend. Nebraska just straight up dominated, capped off with a 3-0 shutout victory. Jordy was named the Big Ten Pitcher of the Week, and then went out and just bettered her season outing for strikeouts, had 14 strikeouts on the day, which is a season high, and was just dealing absolutely. So, man, impressive 3-day stretch for Husker softball. We are going to hear from Rhonda Revelle live. She's going to join us live from the airport. You know a thing or two about traveling baseball, softball weekend, so they are waiting to get on a flight. So she's going to join us here in just a few minutes when she gets settled into the airport. But, man, that was impressive for Husker softball over the last 3 days.
Absolutely. And I think that was the question about this Northwestern team was, are they battle tested the way that Nebraska was? There was something about, being there atop the Big Ten, but also not seeing a team that had cracked the top 25 or was receiving votes. And I think Nebraska, this is what I liked about them. And I think this is such a good trend with only a handful of series remaining before they get to the Big Ten tournament, is this team is playing like they've got a bit of a chip on their shoulder. Now everybody's focused on UCLA and Oregon sitting atop the Big Ten standings. Nebraska did their part. They knocked another one off, and they'll see one, if not both, in the Big Ten tournament as well. So I think that the way that they went out there, took care of business, and showed that, hey, this team, with the non-conference season that they had and on their schedule that they had and the way that they're playing here as of late too, they are, without question, making a case that they are going to be one of the tougher teams to deal with in the Big Ten, on top of where UCLA and Oregon is as well. And I think that was a huge statement weekend for them. All
right. Well, on that note, I just got the text. She is ready. So we're going to go ahead and work into break. We're going to give her a call. So on the other side of this, the head coach for Husker softball, Rhonda Revelle, going to join us live here on Sports Nightly. Hey, Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee, where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Rhonda Revelle, up next.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Set.
hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Find the perfect blend of elegance and innovation at Infinity of Omaha. Right now, receive 1.9% APR for 72 months on the full lineup of 2025 Infinity QX60s, plus $1,000 spring bonus. Enjoy sophisticated design, groundbreaking technology, and a luxurious ride that redefines what's possible. Explore online at infinityofomaha.com or visit our showroom today with approved credit, tax, title, license extra when financed through Infinity Financial Services. $299 doc fee due at signing. VIN number SC353909. Offer expires April 30, 2025. See dealer for details.
Spend your day with Nebraska football at Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 26th as part of the Husker Games. Cheer on members of the 2025 team, as well as Husker greats of the past, as they put their skills on display in various activities, including skill competitions and 7-on-7 games. The action starts at 2, and tickets are just $10 for adults and $1 for youth aged 8th grade and younger. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit CVACoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com. Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, Nick Hanley here with us, and Husker softball coming off a series sweep at Northwestern. Just a huge weekend for the Huskers. 11-1 win on Saturday, 10-1 win on Sunday, and a 3-0 win today, this afternoon. And Rhonda Revelle, kind enough to join us. She's at the airport. I guess, did you make it through security all right, Coach?
Yes, I am through security. I just hope there's not too much background noise. I tried to get someplace quiet.
Oh, no, it sounds great. Thanks for joining us. Is it a busy travel day? Are you guys at O'Hare?
We are at O'Hare. Yeah, it doesn't seem too busy here, though, so.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
We'll be home and be home and ready to go by the weekend.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. What a weekend by your team. I mean, so many players contributed. That was just the ultimate team contributions for 3 days straight.
100%. And really, that came through today. It was a really tight ball game. Northwestern's a very good team. They're the defending Big Ten champions. We're playing on their home field. They have a lot of pride. Their ace, Boyd, was 7-0 in the 7 contests before us. And so we knew it was going to be a battle today. And really, we needed to be in one of those kind of battles. And I thought we had good approaches at the plate, but she's a crafty pitcher. And, really, the fact when, if you look at the box score, Kennedy Williams as pinch runner scores on a play where if somebody's not that fast, we maybe don't score. Nessa McMillan comes in as a pinch runner, scores on that. Abby Squire comes off the bench and has an RBI. Emerson Cope comes off the bench and has a leadoff double to get that inning going, getting us a 3-run cushion in that top of that 7th by scoring 2 runs was really big. I mean, Jordy was throwing a gem of a game anyway, but to going into the last frame with a 3-run lead versus 1-run lead, that feels a lot different.
Coach, you mentioned just what you got contribution-wise today, but also looking at the offensive onslaught the last couple of games, and then going back to now winners 12 of your last 14. I mentioned this earlier, kind of a statement weekend, but it just seems like this team is playing with a little bit of a chip on the shoulder where your best softball is still ahead of you right now. Would that be a fair assessment right now?
Well, we sure hope so. You say that we're 12 out of our last 14. The chip on our shoulder is the 2. The 2 that we didn't win when we really thought we had a chance to win, and we stubbed our own toe, and we don't want to do that. And like we talked about at the end of, we talked about it every game this weekend, but at the end of the day, we said Nebraska softball got better today. And even going into this game today, we knew that just because we had put up a lot of runs the first 2 days, it wasn't necessarily going to be that way today because they were putting their ace back on the mound, and she's a very good pitcher.
Coach, how about Sammy Bland? What has gotten into her here these last few games?
Well, I've said this a couple times now. Sammy has taken control of her own game, and she's working really hard. And I know that sounds cliche, but there's a different level of work. And if you've coached or you've been around athletics, you kind of know when a player takes their game to the next level, and then you look behind the curtain and go, what happened? Well, at some point in time, they took charge of their own improvement, and it's empowering. And that's one of the best feelings as a coach is when you kind of see that light bulb come on with a player, and they're not looking to the coach for all the answers. The coach is now there as a guide and a support and can fill in where, you might have some little missteps along the way, but it's so much a confidence builder and so empowering when you're doing it. And like a lot of the things that she's figured out about herself offensively are times that she's going in the cages alone and just working through things. And then she'll go back and talk to Diane and go, you know what, this is what I'm feeling. And Diane's like, Sammy, you're right on. And so every time she hears Sammy, you're right on, that's empowering.
Well, Coach, this is one of the few occasions I get a chance to talk to you. And so I want to ask about Jordy Ball and using today as an example of the accolades come through earlier today that she's the Big Ten Pitcher of the Week. So she essentially sets the tone from the week that she just finished, technically on, I guess you would say, Sunday. But she's handled so much pressure. She's one of the premier players in the country. Yet the moment never seems too big. When you see her in a game like this today, where she has to be as sharp as she can because the run support isn't what it was on Saturday and Sunday, is that just another example of the steady heartbeat and just the emotions being very even keel with everything that's expected of her, especially with the external expectations with the fans and everything that are very excited about 98?
Mm-hmm. Very great observations. I think one of the things that Jordy appreciates the most about competition are those moments that it almost is like the game slows down for her. And there aren't a lot of competitors that just naturally and inherently that happens for. And so she loves those moments. And I love that about her because it's easy to just be in the moment with her. And I felt like she was just in such a good rhythm today. And she knew in taking the ball today that we had the last 2 weeks on day 3, we had stubbed our toe, and, she was going to do everything, and she did do everything in her power to make sure that we weren't going to do that again today. So she you mentioned Big Ten Pitcher of the Week. I don't even know if she knew that before the game started because I barely found out before the game started. I'm like, we'll get to that later. But, she's not into accolades. I mean, I've heard her say, a million times, I'd give up every strikeout if I just knew the team was going to win. It's for her, at the end of the day, it's all about the team winning.
And now it's not even just giving up strikeouts. It's about her giving up home runs, too, at this point. Did you foresee her having the kind of season that she's having at the plate with the bat in her hands, too?
I'm not surprised by her season offensively because she's such a good athlete, and she's such an explosive athlete. I mean, she runs well. She's, strong. She has great hand-eye coordination. I mean, this has nothing to do with even her as a pitcher. As you notice, she played in left field and she played in center field, and she's played at first base too. So now she's effectively and DP. So she's played 5 positions for us this year, and I'd probably feel okay putting her anywhere except for maybe catcher.
Hey, I did want to ask you, though, about your other pitcher, Kylie McGee. She's someone that's coming off the injury. I had a chance to chat with her. What a gem. Just an incredible conversation. But she's coming off the injury, and it feels like she's really finding her stride. How important is that? How big is that for this team, for her to really get her confidence and her flow back?
Yes, you couldn't have said it better. And it's so important, Jessica. Kylie is that kind of marquee pitcher, and she's getting her endurance back, she's getting her stamina back, she's getting her feel back for her pitches. I can't understate a pitcher that has a wrist surgery. It's a big deal to have an arm surgery. It's a big deal to have anything done with that instrument that you throw with, but a wrist surgery where you're trying to get torque and spin and movement on pitches. I mean, such a critical part of the pitcher being the pitcher that they are, and she's starting to really get that back, and it's just so great. I mean, I actually got teary-eyed yesterday because, I just looked at her and said, not only did Kylie McGee throw a great, complete game, Kylie McGee is back.
Coach, you got to take me through this offensive approach because Jessica and I were talking last week when we were looking at the home run numbers after the single-season record was broken. And looking at more home runs than doubles, looking at least 7 players with at least 17 or more starts are slugging over 600. These numbers are what I think the cool kids call video game numbers right now. But you also had a lot of new faces brought to this roster this year, too. So even with the experience, you never know how that's all going to click. So was there a moment this year that you thought, okay, this is the lineup, this is the group, but this is also what our ceiling is offensively? Because these numbers, I mean, they speak volumes, but they almost, in a way, don't make sense on how good they truly are, especially as of late.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. When this season's all said and done, I'll probably sit back and think about that a little bit. But I will tell you, I think what I enjoy most about this offense is that I don't know how this will sound. It's like I didn't really come in with expectations of a number. You know, we always set some number goals, but it's really been focused on the process. We know we have some hitters that think of themselves as hitters. We know that we have some players that really study hitting and study their plan and approach, and they work hard in the weight room, and so they're in good shape for hitting. But we have just really, really, really focused on attacking balls in the zone 100%. Like when you go, you go. And leaving the balls outside of the zone alone. And we've struggled at that at different points in time in the season, chasing out of the zone. Purdue and Iowa, those 2 of the 14, we chased out of the zone. And we really tried to reel it back in because when we get our swing off in the zone, we're a pretty darn good offense. And the thing is, I mean, you'll hear Diane harping anytime if a player's not getting that 100% swing 100% of the time, she's going to chirp. And I think good things happen when you're just going all out. I mean, it's under control. It doesn't look like, kamikaze, but right. We want to get 100% swing every single time. But the key is that you've got to discern the strike zone from non-strike zone so you can hit it hard.
Coach, how much fun are you having coaching this group? It's such a fun group. They're talented, and they just really seem to enjoy being out there together.
Well, I actually had one of my very best friends fly in to watch a game from the East Coast and hasn't seen us play live for a long time. And as she left this morning, she left me a text and said, it looks like you're having so much fun with this group and a lot of passion in your eyes. And truth be told, this group is doing that. They want to be coached. They want to be good. I think you heard me before the season. I said at an opening press conference, they want to be good for Nebraska. And we take a lot of pride in that. And it's not just the native Nebraskan. We have 10 on our roster that are native Nebraskans that are contributing at a very high level. But it's the others, like you mentioned, the Sammy Blands and the Kyla McGee's. They're all very much invested, the Ava Breadwells. So we've got a lot of people really invested. And so how many times, I would love to talk to coaches, I don't care what sport it is, how many times do you get to experience in your career where you're not coaching 1 ounce of attitude or effort? And when you're not coaching attitude or effort and you're just drilling down and, trying to get with it, in it together, like we're fighting for a common goal, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's great. Hey, back home inside Bowling Stadium, I don't even think there's any tickets left. I told you my parents are coming. They've had this circled for a long time. It's going to be fun. It's going to be rocking out there. And I know a lot of fun things surrounded the weekend, but an important another 2 games back at home that I know you guys want to protect the home field.
Absolutely. And, as you mentioned, Bowling, how about I just keep saying it's electric. It's an electric environment. I cannot be more impressed with the energy in that stadium. So thank you to the fans and all the people, all the event staff that organize it, and the marketing team that make it happen, and all the announcers and all that. But it's like, we get out there, we're inside hitting, and then we get out on the field about an hour before, and it's kind of, quiet and calm. And then all of a sudden it's just like that fast forward and the place is packed and it's just game on. It's really exciting, and it's very thrilling to be on the field in that stadium when we're playing.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. I know I appreciate you getting through security, calling us in, but we had to talk to you. Just a fun weekend for Husker softball, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys back here in Lincoln this weekend.
Thank you, Jess. Thanks for having me.
And Rhonda Revelle joining us here on Sports Nightly and on our Sports Nightly hotline, which is presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're back with more from Sports Nightly coming up after this.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule. With your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or get us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sapbros.net/Huskers.
Elevate your drive in your new vehicle from Woodhouse Lincoln. Explore our current offers going on now. Lease the 2025 Lincoln Aviator for $999 a month for 36 months and 10,500 miles per year. Shop in store at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, security deposit waived, first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Exchange by Lincoln vehicle. VIN number 5LM5J7XCA05101. Offer expires April 30th, 2025. See dealer for details.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Elevate your drive and experience luxury and sophistication at Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Right now, receive up to $8,000 of MSRP on the 2025 Genesis G70 3.3 Turbo Sports Advanced All-Wheel Drive. Stop by our showroom at Village Point or explore our offers online at southwestomahagenesis.com. With approved credit, tax title license extra with qualifying vehicle owned. Stock number GG250274. $299 dock fee due at signing. Offer expires 4/30/25. See dealer for details.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly on this Monday evening. What a treat, as it always is, to chat with the head coach, Rhonda Revelle. Nick, I mean, we talk about this, but I don't know if we could say it enough, but just how lucky we are with the coaches that we get to interact with, deal with on a day-to-day basis here at Nebraska. And Rhonda Revelle is one of the most respected and well-liked women in all of college softball, and we have her here at Nebraska. I always love when we get to have her on the show and chat with her. I feel so uplifted, you know?
Well, there's a common link, the one I'm about to compare her to, when I know that I'm going to have an opportunity to talk with them, that I get really excited, and I always usually walk away, kind of what you said, almost uplifted. Mark Manning has the same thing.
Yeah.
You know that the commonality between those two is the passion that they have for what they're doing. And you heard in the first hour of the show with Will Bolt. Will Bolt is one of the most ultimate competitors. I mean, he was an elite competitor at the collegiate level as a player, and that's how he is as a coach. And so I think that's the commonality. When we hear Matt Rule talk, the passion that he has for what he is doing, even with the sport constantly changing. Rhonda Revelle is one of the very best when it comes to, she believes in what she's doing, she believes in the sport, and she believes in the kids that she has year in and year out, and is always looking for not just the success on the field, but for all of these ladies to be successful individuals and human beings when their time at Nebraska is done, no matter what they go on to do. And that's the same thing with Mark Manning. You listen to him talk, you sit there, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, it's time for me to ask another question, because you're just caught up in exactly what they're saying. And in a way, it's uplifting, motivating, but I think more than anything, it's refreshing, because you know, there's a time in college athletics that's been taking place now, I would say, for the past couple of years, where there's a lot of coaches that have looked at the sport that they're currently coaching and have seen the changes and have seen the way that you have to handle the student athlete compared to how you had it, years ago. And Rhonda Revelle is someone that has seen this sport change. She's seen the student athlete dynamic change as well.
And she
Mark
was
Manning,
a student athlete here.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, you've watched how that has all evolved, and the different opportunities and the different voices now and platforms that all these student athletes. That can sometimes be a bother to certain coaches, and they don't want to deal with the headache, and they don't want to deal with the constant roster turnover, and they decide to get out of it. But I think it's just so refreshing to see coaches that have been doing this for a very long time, despite the changes and the evolution of what you've seen in their various sports, and they still have that exact same passion that they had from day one. And Rhonda Revelle is 100% committed to what she's doing, just like she was on day one. And I mean, that is a lucky. I think Troy Dannon has a bunch of those people as head coaches. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and you and I were actually talking in the commercial break. Probably not going to have the chance to get into that top 16. I don't know. It's not a done deal, but the top 16 get to host. But either way, we were talking with the way they're playing, and if they keep it rolling, Nebraska's going to be a team that people do not want to see in that regional round to host, to come to their place.
Absolutely. They check so many boxes.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at a team that is playing at the level of what we would consider to be a problem. This is a team that they field it very well. That's the other thing we haven't talked about as much, because what they've done in the circle and what they've done at the plate has been so impressive. But this is a team that was a little rocky at first early in the season in handling the softball and making the routine plays. Now they're locked in. I mean, their fielding percentage is outstanding. It's taken a big jump. So you're not able to get a lot of extra things on this team, or some cheap bases or cheap runs on this team too. So they're locked in on the defensive side. They've got a bona fide ace, obviously, in Jordy Ball. But what they also do at the plate, I mentioned that to Coach Revelle, of the amount of players that they have slugging over 600, the fact that they have more home runs than doubles, but those doubles, the number for their doubles is pretty good. They just hit that many more home runs. Their slugging percentage is an ungodly number. So those are a lot of things that I look at as you're going into postseason here in a few weeks. You got all that going for you. Yeah, this is a team I would not want to face. They seem to have a lot of things going for them at the right time right now.
All right, let's stick with women's sports. And Nebraska mentioned this last week as well. Did not have any news out of the transfer portal with Nebraska women's basketball. Had a lot with the men's basketball, but did get a couple of announcements. Actually, today is not official yet, but they both these athletes have posted on their social media that they have committed. Haley Weaver is a guard out of Northwestern. She didn't play last year, but did play 3 seasons at Northwestern, averaged, I think, 8 points a game and 23-24. And then Eliza Maupin is a 6'3" forward, and she comes from Kansas State. And both these players have 1 year of eligibility left. And so you got a forward, you got a guard. I think what's interesting about Haley Weaver, the guard, she's got experience in the Big Ten, which I think is important. And then the Maupin out of Kansas State. Kansas State just had a successful season, and she's been a part of that Kansas State program that's made some noise in the Big 12 the last 3 seasons, and so some experienced players there. But I think for their Nebraska women's basketball, it's less about finding the piece, right, and finding more of those complementary pieces, because you do have so much coming back. It's about finding those fits with what you have. And so I think they got a couple of, you needed to get a guard and a forward. And so we'll see. I don't think they're done yet either, but a couple good pieces with some experience coming in here for the Huskers.
Yeah, that's the key. I think you nailed it on the head as far as you're not looking for that elite player or scorer, because I think you feel like you have that. And I feel like you're continuing to develop that with whether it's a Britt Prince or, you can name a couple other players, but it's being able to find the depth. It's being able to find, especially someone like Haley Weaver, who is familiar with the Big Ten. So you have that part of the equation as well, someone very familiar with the league and what you're going to be up against week in and week out, night in and night out, but then also another power conference experienced player that maybe the point total and the field goal percentage. Well, I guess actually the field goal percentage is decent. It hasn't been the same type of minutes, though, but you're looking for a player that has logged some minutes at a power conference school that can, again, provide depth pieces. These are just reinforcements, in my opinion, that you're looking for Amy Williams to be able to fill that roster, still have some competition, and see if there's something that maybe they're just starting to scratch the surface with a couple of these players, too, that you can put them in a role where maybe their offensive profile expands a little bit, too. But more than anything, yeah, I think you're right. These are depth pieces. These are more than it's experience. It's Division I power conference experience that you're bringing to your roster.
Because they're still going to be pretty young next year,
absolutely.
A lot of these players coming back. Britt's going to be a sophomore. You got Natalie Potts hopefully coming back, and that she will be still. I mean, she got hurt during her sophomore season, so still young relatively, and playing experience. And so, then the 2 other freshmen that were big contributors down the stretch. So they're still relatively young, that you add some experience, which I think was really important. Another thing I wanted to get to, did you see the photo that came out with maybe a little teaser of what you can get at the spring sale coming up?
I did not. What did we got?
It was like kind of a hodgepodge. There was some jerseys. There was some slides, some helmets, just a little bit of everything as to be expected. But I think there's going to be a lot of treasures that you're going to be able to get. Are you a go and kind of dig and find those treasures type of shopper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. First of all, I'm a bargain shopper. Some people would say the way I dress would also lead people to believe that I definitely am a bargain shopper. But yeah, if I'm finding what I want to see is some of the retro stuff too. If I can find something that was maybe, I don't know how much retro stuff they're going to have, but if you're getting some of those good bargain buys. Look, I was from day one super excited about the little garage sale that they were going to do with all the gear and everything too. So when it comes to that Saturday, I wouldn't be shocked if I wasn't in Maryland for that weekend. I would probably be one of the first people in there trying to raid anything I possibly could for that for all that gear too. But yes, I will try to find as good of a deal as possible. And I don't really call it shopping. I go and I buy. I know I have a plan. I go in. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Sometimes I get distracted because there's something else that I didn't plan on. But yeah, I go in with a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you're going nowhere, right?
So it looks like, and again, I think this is part of it, is that there's going to be gear from every sport. As they, put this out there. And there's jerseys from baseball, from softball, basketball, football. They've got lots of different hats, cleats, like I said, helmets, but just, any kind of gear that you could imagine from all the sports here, it's going to be available. So lots to find there. And we are also going to find more out this week. We've been talking about it and teasing it and alluding to what's going to happen, but a lot more of the scheduling and what exactly you're going to see in the Husker games coming up. And wow, gosh, a week from this Saturday. Yeah. It's going to keep coming out this week. So a lot of fun things evolving, and we're going to have Haven Fields back on. But as we get closer and closer, I get more and more excited. I think it's going to be a fun little switch up. And here's the kicker too, Nick. I talked to Isaiah Hunter last week, and he said that is one of the things why he wanted to come here, was the fan base and playing in front of these kinds of fans. And every year, this is their first kind of taste at getting in front of Husker Nation. I know it's not a game, but still there's going to be some recruits here for these players that came in that chose Nebraska. A lot of it is because it's to have this kind of experience where you can play in front of a great crowd. So, it's still important to get out and support, this team and have a good crowd, and for the future Huskers, but also for the ones that have been really putting in the grind this whole spring.
And this, I don't want to make what I'm about to say a call to action for Nebraska fans, because to your point, I think they know exactly that about themselves and what makes this fan base so unique. But it is a different environment than what we've ever seen. And this is a jumping off point for the athletic department in trying something new. We understand that. And I think for something that is so cool, and you've been down there on the sidelines and you've seen it firsthand as well, some of those new transfers, when they go to that spring game, and they've come from spring games before where it's been maybe 1,500 people to watch, if even that, and then they see 50 to 60 to 70,000 in some occasions watching them play in a glorified scrimmage, their eyes light up. They can't believe it. And you're going through all of that thinking, and it gets better in the fall. So I know it's not going to have the same type of game flow that you've had in previous years, but I think for fans to be able to show up, to your exact point right there, Jessica, for what these transfers and what these new faces have a chance to experience, you're absolutely right. The fan base is a big part of that. And so even if it's a little unusual or a little more unique as far as the activities that are taking place that day, if you're still there, you're still present, you're going to have an impact on these guys and re-solidifying on why they came here.
Great stuff. All right, you got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up the show next. And hey, Husker, stop by your local Hy-Vee, where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the Game Day Special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Here's What's on Tap, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. We talked earlier, but a doubleheader coming up this weekend for Nebraska softball, Friday and Saturday against Indiana, 5 o'clock on Friday. And so just the two games there this weekend. Baseball tomorrow night, another one against Creighton, 6 o'clock, first pitch. And then a 3-game home series against Northwestern, Friday, 6 o'clock, Saturday, 2 o'clock, Sunday, noon. And Saturday is the Bark in the Park Day. And I was told today that they've got some cool giveaways, including some bandanas for your dog. So I'm planning on bringing Sunny out to the ballpark. If you need some company in the booth on Saturday, are you going to be on the call on Saturday?
I Nick? am.
So if you need me to bring up, Sunny for Bark in the Park, I'm happy to do it.
You know what? I would be delighted because we were talking about possibly bringing our 75-pound golden doodle, but it's always better when it's someone else's dog and I can pet someone else's dog and not have to worry about my own dog at games and having to do all that. So have fun with that, Jessica.
Those are always fun days. So bring your dog out, bring your pup out. Hopefully going to be a nice day. I haven't looked at the weather, but 2 o'clock on Saturday. So fun giveaways. So get there early so you can make sure you get some of those. All right, just about 90 seconds left. But Creighton tomorrow, we had Will Bolt on in the first hour, but how you feeling about this one going into this? Are the Huskers going to be a little bit motivated? I feel like maybe a little bit fuel to the fire going into this one tomorrow.
I think so, and I think they understand, just like they did last week, beating Kansas, it sets the tone for what is going to be a big weekend. So if they can duplicate that, and Creighton, obviously, they know exactly what Creighton is. They got them last time. They've got Nebraska the last handful of times now. So, yeah, I think this team, especially their midweek fortunes this year compared to last year, even though they lost to Creighton and UNO the previous week, I think that they're going to be locked in like the way that they finished that series yesterday. So I'm expecting good things tomorrow.
So Ben said he's going to be flying back. So it's you and Ben tomorrow. You might be having to get the show on the road, I guess, to start.
I'm prepared for anything. Yes, he warned me, so I'm ready to rock and roll. You just got to be nimble sometimes when it comes to those flights. But yes, I'm ready.
All right. So 5:30 pregame show. Nick and hopefully Ben starting at 5:30 for our first pitch at 6 o'clock. Nebraska baseball versus Creighton on the air here tomorrow night. We'll be back for a full 2 hours on Wednesday and a full 2 hours on Thursday. How about that? We haven't had two full shows on a Wednesday, Thursday, and I can't remember how long. So we'll have lots of Sports Nightly headed your way coming up later this week. But baseball on the air coming up tomorrow. Thanks to Nick and Russ and Coach Revelle and Will and Ben. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt